What the heck is up, you guys? It's your boy Ace, aka Animated Heroes, here back with another action figure review. And as you guys can see today, we're going to be taking a look at the Marvel Amazing Spider-Man comic version Carnage. And I know this figure has been pushed back quite a bit, but we finally have it. And I have to say, based off what I'm seeing just through the packaging, this figure looks really dope. So I'm excited for this review. But that being said, let's not waste any more time. We're going to go ahead and dive into that sexy packaging so we can bust this figure out and see what he's all about. Now, for the sexy packaging, it's the same thing we normally get with Mafex. You do have the window, of course, where you can see the figure, some of the accessories. You have an image of him that comes straight out of the comic book. It says, "Killing is what I do." Next to it, Marvel 6-inch. You do have an image of him right here. This is the actual figure, the Amazing Spider-Man Carnage comic book version. Then you have his name, which I believe this was written in blood in either Maximum Carnage or Absolute. I don't remember the comic, but it was one of the two. You got Mafex right here, Medicom toy, Marvel. At the top, you do have his name written again, Amazing Spider-Man, Marvel, just a Carnage logo pretty much right there. On the side, you do have him with one of the accessories. It kind of looks like a hammer, Amazing Spider-Man, Carnage. On this side, same thing, just another image of him. You have his logo right there, Marvel. And then, of course, on the back, you do have some poses you can get the figure into, some of the accessories, and all the legal stuff that no one really cares about. So, that being said, let's go ahead and bust this guy out because I'm pretty excited for this figure. Now, straight out of the packaging, I have to say, so far in terms of just looks and the feel of this figure, I am really impressed. I don't know what it is, but something about Carnage here in 2020 has just taken over. I really became fascinated with this character this year. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, then you know I've been posting a whole lot of photos of my Marvel Legends Carnage that I've got. I actually picked up 3 of them for the absolute Carnage effect, but just having this Mafex, obviously my favorite brand of action figure, just having this in hand, this is super dope. And there's something about this figure I cannot pinpoint, but it feels different than most of the other Mafex figures I have, even comparing it to Venom and Spider-Man. I don't know, something just feels different, but not in a bad way at all. It feels really dope. And then just looking at the details on this guy, it looks like they just used one of their average bodies, but all of this black symbiote is actually sculpted on. And while I'm talking about the body, I'm going to start at the head. Let me start there. This head sculpt looks so sick. In photos, it can look really soft. Like, I don't know, like it kind of feels like it's missing texturing if you compare it to the Marvel Legends. But if you don't try to compare it to these, then this figure is just so dope. Like, I love the look and the feel of this figure. I can't even elaborate on that enough, but I'm not going to because you guys get the point. But from head to toe, like, this guy looks so dope. And then, of course, as you guys can tell, there's not really any black on the knees right here in the joints, and then on these little joints right here. But that's okay. Like, I know some people had problems with that, but look, you can't continue to sculpt on parts where it's supposed to articulate. So I'm perfectly fine with that. This just looks really damn good. Like, man, Mafex, this so far was definitely worth the wait. And of course, I'll show the back of the figure. As you guys can see, you just got the black that just flows down. And they did so good painting it too. Like, there's not a whole lot of paint bleeding or anything like that. And even if there is, it kind of looks like it just flows into the figure. So it's super dope. Like, in terms of how this looks, I could go on all day. But let's go ahead and put this guy back, see how tall he stands. That way we can get into the articulation. Now, in terms of his height, as you guys can see, Carnage stands right under 6.5 inches. So pretty tall figure, but of course he's going to fit in scale with any of your Mafex Spider-Man figures, just because this is normally the standard height that they go with, or something right around it. Now, in terms of his articulation, he looks up only about that much. Not a whole lot. You can kind of move that neck back a little bit to get him to look up a little bit more, but not a lot. And I'm going to pop the head off because I want you guys to see this. It does have this, I guess it's kind of like a dumbbell joint. I think that's what it's called. You can actually rotate that pop the head on, and then it helps him to look back even further. I wanted to show that both ways so you guys know he actually is not as limited as you will think. So as you guys can see, he actually can look up. And he looks down to the point that his chin actually touches the chest. So that's really good. You do get some tilt out of it. Of course, you can move the neck around as well. So articulation at the head's really good. Arms go up and out that much. He can pretty much punch upward, no problem. That's dope. He does have a butterfly joint, and mine kind of popped out, but I was pulling on it. So let me show that one more time. You can actually bring his hands in about that much, so he can totally do claw attacks or pretty much whatever you want him to do. And so these are very effective. As you guys can see, he does have a built-in bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and you can move those around like so. His hands are on the typical Mafex hinge, but this one is actually a little bit more thick than some of the other figures, which I'm glad that they did that because it makes it a little bit more sturdy and you don't have to worry about these breaking as much. As far as the diaphragm, he can move around quite a bit. He crunches forward, not very much. Let me put his arm down so you guys can see. Only about that much. Crunches back a little bit, but you do get some crazy gapping in there. Now, if you photograph it right, it won't look bad. It'll just look like the black from the symbiote is going upward into the chest, but it is a gap there. So he can turn, of course, but you do get a whole lot more crunch out of the waist. So that's where you're really going to get your articulation from there. He does bend back as well, as you guys can see. You do get a swivel at the waist, works very well. So you can get this guy in all kinds of crunching forward poses. And that's good for Carnage because he needs that. Now, as far as the legs go, you can use the drop down method. It is a little bit tough on mine, but as you guys can see, if you pull it down enough, he can kick forward very well. He can kick back, actually. Okay, I was not expecting that, but okay, so that does come off. I'm probably going to put this guy in some hot water, but if you pull it down and out, this one is a whole lot better than this one. This one just feels really stiff, but he can do the splits about that much if you want to have him do a kick pose or something like that. And pop those back in there. He does have thigh swivel. Not much, but you can rotate it well enough. I think it's good enough to get him in a good pose. As far as the knees goes, double jointed as always. They never miss. Foot goes down that much, up that much. Of course, he does have ankle rocker, as you guys can see, and then he does have a toe hinge. So articulation wise, this guy is really, really good, but it's standard for Mafex. This is what we have grown to expect, which is exactly why I don't have a problem paying their price point most of the time. So before moving on to the next segment, I wanted to make sure I was completely comfortable with the articulation after you guys saw what happened with the right leg. And I decided to share with you guys what I did because I did have some issue with that being extremely tight and just not wanting to work for me. But I'm going to show you how I fixed it. So this leg is, for me, gonna pop off. I'm used to it. It's fine. I can still pose the figure how I want to. But up in here, where this piece right here connects to the joint, it got like really, really stiff and I could barely move it. So what I did was I heated this guy up in some warm water and I used this. I've showed this in some of my Mafex figure reviews. I put some oil inside this joint right here. All it takes is a little bit, and it helped me in order to move this around so that it's not stiff anymore. And that's an issue some of you guys might face. If so, don't sweat it. Like I said, just put this guy in some warm water, take this piece right off carefully, and then apply some oil to it, put it back on, and then you'll be able to get that leg and move it pretty much how you want to. As you guys can see, it's not making any clicking noises or anything like that. It's working. So yes, make sure if you have tight joint issues with any Mafex figure, all you have to do is use this oil, and I'll show it one more time. This always helps. I've used it on Venom and I believe Spider-Man as well. Now, if you guys have been impressed with anything you've seen so far, it gets even better, especially when it comes to the accessories. This guy comes with a ton. First off, you just get your default standard Carnage head where he's got that evil grin. You get a pair of fist hands. You get a pair of fist hands with claws on them, as you guys can see. They're not sharp or anything, but you know exactly what these are used for. You get a pair of open palm hands that have, I don't know what these are. I guess they're supposed to be like long blades that he uses. I don't know. Carnage can make some crazy, crazy things when it comes to getting ready to slaughter. But these look really cool. As you guys can see, the fingers just kind of slowly turn into one long blade, and it's pretty dope. You also get another one like that, but it's a fist hand. And once again, you just see the fist slowly turning into a symbiotic weapon, if I can speak. And then you get two, I think these are both left hand accessories. Actually, no. So this one's right. You get his blade for if he wants to chop some people up. Then, of course, you get one for the left, which this turns into a hammer. And these are really dope. Also, you get two head sculpts that come with him. You get one where he's like laughing hysterically. This is obviously when he's in the middle of murdering someone. But this looks pretty dope. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think they worked on this the best way that they could. So I'm fine with this. I'll definitely enjoy using it in photos. But then you get this one, which this is dope. Like, they are getting so much better on their head sculpts. Honestly, I feel like this one is better than the face that comes with Peter Parker or Venom. Like, this is really, really good. I like this a lot. And that's not all. Added to everything that I was just showing, you do get a pair of wall crawling / clawing hands, and I really love how these look. They look like they're really sharp, and he could climb walls with them, but at the same time, he can attack. You get these are pretty much the same, but they're a little bit more closed. They just look really creepy, and I love these. They're more like stylish hands, but I dig it. Then you get a pair of, I don't know what these would be considered. They look like crab hands to me, but as you guys can see, the index finger and the thumb are like almost touching, and the rest of it is closed. But these are dope to have. I can definitely think of some ideas with those. You get a pair of holding hands, so you can put accessories in there. And that's pretty cool that they included those, even though Carnage creates his own weapons. And if that wasn't enough, you do also get the same hands that I showed first, but these have magnets on them, so you can put them on the wall. And then you do get magnets on the feet as well, as they have included with Spider-Man and Venom. So it's cool to have those. And that's still not all. You do get, these are like symbiote pieces that you can attach around the arm, I guess. These are like, I don't know, like, it's going to look like the symbiotes just kind of like coming off of him, which is cool. I love this effect. And then lastly, you get another one you can pretty much attach around the arm, and I guess this is for when he's web slinging, but all really great accessories. Like, this definitely makes this figure worth the purchase, if you guys haven't realized that already. Now, putting him back for some size comparisons, here he is standing next to some of his counterparts. We do have the first release Spider-Man in the classic outfit. You do have your classic Venom. And then, of course, we have the character who's popping quite a bit right now, Miles Morales. We're still waiting on that Into the Spider-Verse version, which I think is going to be sick. Next up, here he is standing next to a couple of Marvel Legends. We have the Marvel Legends Venom Pool Wave Carnage. We have the Marvel Legends, I don't know what the wave is for these other two. So I'm just going to say we have the Doc Ock and, of course, the classic outfit Vulture as well. And I think he stands in well enough with these guys. It doesn't look bad at all. Next up, here he is sitting next to one of the only characters in comic book history that can really rival this guy in terms of insanity. We have the SH Figuarts Dark Knight Joker, the Marvel Legends movie Venom, and of course the Marvel Legends movie Deadpool. Both of these guys are really great figures, by the way. Pick these up if you haven't already. And then lastly, for some extras, here he is standing next to the SH Figuarts Ultra Instinct signed Goku. This is the event exclusive version, not the demoniacal fit. We do have the Marvel Legends Spider-Man, the animated series Spider-Man, and of course the best Batman Beyond to date, made by Mattel, which will soon be topped by that McFarlane. Now, I said this already, but I'm going to say it again. To say that this is a fun figure is an understatement. Mafex really outdid themselves with this release. And I keep wondering, how can they continue to get better and better? But it's stuff like this, giving the figures a ton of accessories, really good articulation, remaining consistent, upping the joints like they did so I don't feel like they're going to snap. Yes, some changes don't always work out, but it just really goes to show that they're trying to improve their work. And so I know Mafex made this jump from $40 to $80 out of nowhere, but I'm fine with that. I will gladly spend $80 on an action figure if the quality of it is up to par. I know a lot of people say, hey, I'll go with the Marvel Legends. That's cool and all if you want to spend on a budget, but me, I just love this type of stuff. Like, you're not going to get all of these accessories with a Marvel Legends. Granted, the Venom Pool Carnage that just came out is a great figure, but you don't get any of these extra hands, extra wall crawling feet, extra accessories. Some of them come with a few, but nothing like this. And so, Mafex, kudos. I will always buy the import over the domestic any day. And that's just how I am as a collector. This figure is great. If I was the biggest Carnage fan, this would easily go down and in one of my top 15, top 20, whatever I do of 2020 when I drop that video. And it's safe to say this guy might just make the list. I do have a couple other figures coming in, but I'm not going to ramble on, guys. If you can get your hands on this guy, do it. You will not regret it. For everything that he comes with, the price point is worth it. Get him now while he's $80 versus waiting until he goes up to 100 plus, because you guys know that does tend to happen with Mafex figures. But anyway, I know I've been gone for a while. I've been busy with a lot of things. There are some things I've been working on, and I'll get into that in another video. But guys, make sure to like this video because that always helps me. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon. If you don't get updated whenever I put up new videos, just make sure to unsubscribe, subscribe again so that you guys do know when I upload more content. I do plan on dropping a few more videos before the end of the year, and then eventually I'm going to try to get back more consistent. I've just got a lot of things going on. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this review. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe where you are, and peace. Pick up this figure.